Along with Marty Rulli, who worked with Dennis on his book. I began by asking Davern what the new information was that investigators are now zeroing in on.
I can't answer that question right now.
And why not? You're referring to mistakes you made. Have you changed your story from when you spoke to investigators years ago?
I did lie on a report years ago.
And what did you lie about then?
It was just I made mistakes by not telling the honest truth.
Is it your charge that, in fact, Robert Wagner essentially tried to make this a low-profile investigation, did not do everything he could to try to find her once she went missing after their argument?
Yes, it was to be kept a low-profile investigation.
So you're saying that Wagner did not do everything he should have done to look for her after she went missing?
Exactly.
Was he responsible for her death in some way?
Well, like I said, I think we all made mistakes that night. And
Mr. Davern, that wasn't my question. Was he responsible for her death? I'm not asking about your story.
Yes, I would say so, yes.
How so?
I really don't want to get involved in answering that question.
Well, how can you come on national television, sir, and keep something like that but not back it up?
Well, that's up to the investigators. I don't want to speak for...
Well, you're speaking to investigators. Are they not reopening this investigation based on information that you provided them?
Yes, they are.
You may be an opportunist. You're saying that Robert Wagner was responsible for her death, but not saying how, not shedding light on why it is after 30 years they would reopen an investigation when that's a very unusual step for any investigative body to do.
Far away from even thinking about propping over a 30-year anniversary. I've known this information for many, many years, and my book has been out for 2 years. I'm not in it for any kind of profit. I'm in it for the justice of the whole situation.
Marty Rulli, you helped Mr. Davern with this book. I'll ask you the direct question. What happened, and what do we know now that we didn't know then?
Well, there was a fight aboard the Splendor the night Natalie died, a terrible argument. That was never relayed to the original investigators. And none of the survivors, Walken, Wagner, or Dennis, were forthcoming with the investigators.
So then what happens? I mean, I've just heard Mr. Davern say he thinks that Wagner was responsible for his wife's death. What happened?
Natalie was mortified, went to her stateroom. Wagner followed, and a terrible argument transpired that broke out to the back deck. Dennis overheard the arguing. He did make an attempt to stop it, was told to go away by Robert Wagner, and then minutes later Natalie was missing. Dennis was asked to search the boat. He did. He couldn't find Natalie. He met up with Wagner in the wheelhouse. Dennis wanted to do everything, make a phone call, turn on the searchlight. His instincts told him something was terribly wrong, and Robert Wagner asked him not to.
I want to stop at that point, Mr. Davern. Wagner said not to take direct steps that could help identify where Natalie Wood was had she fallen off the boat. That's what you're saying?
Yes, we didn't take any steps to see if we could locate her.
Did you have any evidence, any information to say that there was foul play, that this was murder, that he was responsible for her being pushed off the boat? Or was it a matter of him simply saying, we're not going to look too hard?
I think it was a matter of we're not going to look too hard. We're not going to turn on the searchlight. We're not going to notify anybody right at the moment.
You never told the police that at the time, did you?
No.
Why not?
Well, because we all had our story to tell the homicide detectives at the time, and that's the story I told.
So you agreed with Robert Wagner to tell a story he wanted you to tell and not the truth?
Yes.
Why should anyone believe you now when you didn't tell the truth then?
Well, at that time, my life was just totally crazy at that time, and you know, I don't think there was a time where I was able to even think straight.
Any message you have for Robert Wagner this morning?
No.
My interview earlier